Hey guys, for this week, I have another compilation video. In this week's compilation, I have compiled the best teams for Red, Blue, and Yellow. So the remastered Red and Blue team, the Charizard team, Blastoise team, and Pokemon Yellow team. I feel these teams have actually held up pretty well over the years. So if you're playing through Gen 1 right now, hopefully these teams can help you out. With that said, I'll see you guys next week with a brand new upload. Returning to the throne for the best team for Kanto, we have Venusaur. I have explained why Venusaur is the best starter before in Kanto many of times, but in Red and Blue, MJ and I said it was Blastoise because of it being one of the best water mons in Gen 1. Well, with one thing I learned in Kanto is that ice Pokemon can do the job better than water Pokemon can. So Blastoise is gone by that logic. Fire typing doesn't do all that well in Kanto, so Charizard is eliminated, and the fact it doesn't get Fly until Pokemon Yellow makes it even worse. So Venusaur is the best starter for Pokemon Red and Blue as well, as it pretty much performs very similarly to how it does in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Grass Pokemon just do a better job in Kanto versus the Fire typing, and the Ice typing takes care of anything Blastoise can do. Venusaur is also just the most balanced starter, being a bulky mon and having decent offensive stats. Sometimes balance just wins, and Venusaur just does better on paper versus the other two starters. The moveset for Venusaur is going to be the same exact one we gave it in Fire Red and Leaf Green, being Vine Whip early, followed by Razor Leaf, Leech Seed, Toxic, and Growth. Vine Whip can be learned at level 13, and that can be used against Brock to smash him in. Keep that on until level 30, where you learn Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf will be Venusaur's main grass attack for the entire game pretty much. Plus, since it has a high chance to crit and Venusaur has decent speed, who knows, you may actually be able to pull off some good crits every now and then. Leech Seed is learned at level 7, and this move is good for stalling and stacking up Toxic. Speaking of Toxic, when an opponent is poisoned, it does more damage as each turn goes by. So Toxic is going to be our third move. Leech Seed and Toxic are a great combination. Growth is there because who doesn't like setting up? Growth in Generation 1 only raises the special, but that's fine in Venusaur's case because Razor Leaf is special. With these moves, Venusaur does well against Brock's team, Misty's team, Giovanni's Rhyhorn, Dugtrio, and Rhydon, Lorelei's entire team, Bruno's Onix, and finally Blue's Rhydon. Yeah, even though Venusaur is the better of the starters, it's not by much. It's unfortunate because the starters really are rough in this generation of Pokemon. Generation 1 just doesn't give any mercy to this Pokemon, but like I said earlier, I still think it is better on paper versus the other Kanto starters. Okay, so this is the part where you're expecting Nidoking, right? Well, it usually is here, except not in Generation 1, and the main reasoning is because it doesn't get Dig. While Thrash is nice, it starts to become not as useful as it would be in the early game the more you play through Kanto. Nidoking needs a great stab to power through these games, and it doesn't learn Dig in Generation 1. So naturally, the Pokemon that will be replacing Nidoking is none other than Dugtrio. Now, we've seen Dugtrio's counterpart before in Alola, but this is the first time I believe Cantonian Dugtrio has ever been on a best team, so welcome aboard. Dugtrio is an excellent ground-type Pokemon in Generation 1, and with its great speed and attack, I think it's going to do very well for you guys. It's literally the second best ground-type Pokemon you can get in Kanto, behind Nidoking. Last time we had Golem, but it's a trade evolution, so that's a no-no. Dugtrio is the best ground option we got, and the cool thing is, we get it right before Lieutenant Surge's gym in Diglett's Cave, so our Electro-type Pokemon problem is over. With Dugtrio's high speed too, I think getting critical hits on this Pokemon will be easily done because of the moveset we have for it. Check it out. Dugtrio's moveset is super fun because we get to use Generation 1 mechanics. We got Dig / Earthquake / Rock Slide, and Double Team. Dig is the earliest ground type attack we get until level 47. These are the two best stab attacks we get. Next up we have Slash. This can be learned by Dugtrio at level 35. Like I mentioned earlier, crits are based around speed in this gen. So Slash plus that really high speed takes advantage of how good Dugtrio is. Next up we have a coverage attack being Rock Slide. This is great for those flying Pokemon Dugtrio can't hit and when you're put in a jam. The TM for Rock Slide can be obtained from the girl on the top floor of the Celadon department store by giving her a soda pop. She will then give you the TM. Lastly, we have Double Team, which is great for Dugtrio because of how frail it is, and I think it's the best option we have. Raising evasiveness can come in handy, you never know. The TM for Double Team can be found in the Safari Zone. With these moves, Dugtrio plows through Lieutenant Surge's team, Koga's team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Blaine's team, Giovanni's team, Lorelei's ice types, just be careful of their ice and water moves, obviously, Bruno's Onix, Agatha's team, Lance's Gyarados, Aerodactyl, and Dragonite, just watch out for Gyarados' Hydro Pump, and finally Blue's Rhydon. Dugtrio is a very solid member on this team to say the least. It might not have the most diverse move pool or anything like that, but it's fast, can pack a punch, and absolutely dominates the teams it does well against. Next up, we have the flyer on this team being, you guessed it, Dodrio. Yeah, Dodrio's back again from all the Kanto best teams. It's the best flyer we can get. It outranks Pidgeot and Fearow with a great move pool it has of normal and flying attacks. Dodrio also has 20 more attack than Fearow does and 10 more speed. So I think that's a pretty solid conclusion as to why it's the best. It hits Pokemon like a truck with great moves like Tri-Attack, and the fact we get it right before Erica's gym makes it even better. Plus the speed and crits, yeah, I think you guys get it at this point. Dodrio is dope, and I am proud to welcome it once again for a best team for Kanto. Dodrio's moveset is very similar to the one we usually give it, being Fly, Drill Peck, Tri-Attack, and Double Edge. Fly is here because you guys know we need Fly. No one wants to walk everywhere in Kanto. Drill Peck is here, and it's our main stab attack after Peck. Dodrio can learn Drill Peck at level 30, which is actually earlier than usual. Tri-Attack can be learned at level 45, and this attack is great because it has the chance to freeze, burn, or paralyze the opponent. It's a great stab normal attack. Lastly, we have Double Edge, and I think it just works for Dodrio because of the sheer power regardless of recoil damage. You're mainly going to be using Tri-Attack as your normal stab attack, but Double Edge is just kind of there, just for extra support. Using this moveset, Dodrio soars through Erika's team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Bruno's Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machamp. Let's watch out for Hitmonchan's elemental punches, and finally Blue's Executor. Dodrio is definitely the best flying option we have for Gen 1 Kanto. However, as you can see, it doesn't do as well as it does in other playthroughs. Still though, it's fast and strong, so you can't really go wrong. An old evolution is being reunited with us, being Jolteon. I've missed you, buddy, and I knew that deep down, you would find yourself on the best team again eventually. Eevee can be found in the Celadon Mansion through the back entrance. Follow the stairs all the way up, and the Pokeball for Eevee will be on a desk. Now, in the Fire Red and Leaf Green Best Team Remastered, I mentioned that Jolteon gets outplayed by fighting types, in Fire Red and Leaf Green's case being Hitmonlee. Jolteon was on the original Best Team for Kanto because it did well against all the Flying Mons and Lorelei's team, plus all the other water types as well. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, it isn't as needed, and it's not as useful. Here, though, in Pokemon Red and Blue, with Jolteon's high speed stats and crits, it gets a lot better. Jolteon is the best Electric-type Pokemon you get inside of Generation 1 with that high speed stat and access to Thunderbolt very early on. Jolteon actually does very well in Generation 1, and I mean, hey, it made the original Best Team for Red and Blue as well. The only downside about Jolteon is, of course, its move pool, but then again, that's every gen, not just this one. So our moveset is going to be a little boring and disappointing, unfortunately. Going over Jolteon's moveset, we have Thunderbolt for Stab, Thunder Wave, Pin Missile, and Reflect. Thunderbolt is there because stab, and it's the best electric type attack you can get for it. The TM for Thunderbolt is given to you after you defeat Lieutenant Surge. Thunder Wave is there because of paralysis. Being able to cripple your opponent's speed is always nice, and paralysis is an excellent status condition. Now, as for where to get Thunder Wave, you have two options. One, you can wait until level 40, or you can get the TM for it past Nugget Bridge. I think the TM is the better option, but you do you. You're probably shaking your head asking, why in the hell did you have Jolteon learn Pin Missile? Well, there's three reasons for that. One, it's because we only have limited moves for Jolteon. Two, Pin Missile hits multiple times, there's a chance for a crit. And 3, we don't have anything for Psychic Mons. Shadow Ball doesn't exist in this gen, guys, so we're stuck using Pin Missile. Pin Missile can be learned at level 48, and I think by the time you get the Sabrina, you should have it by then. If not, then use a certain fat Pokemon we obtain later on the team. Lastly, we have Reflect, and that's there because of filler. And hey, having your team have extra defense isn't a bad thing at all. The Reflect TM can be found in the Power Plant. With these moves, Jolteon does well against Koga's team with Pin Missile if you decide to overlevel a bit, Sabrina's Kadabra, Mr. Mime, and Alakazam with Pin Missile as its her only option. Lorelei's team, Agatha's Golbat and Arbok, Lance's Gyarados and Aerodactyl, and finally, Blue's team is set from his Rhydon. Jolteon definitely has earned its spot on this team. Even in the rough spots, it really pulls through against this region's overpowered psychic types, solidifying it as one of this team's most valued members. Rolling his fat body into the 5th slot of this team again is Peter Griffin. Yup, our big lovable up Snorlax joins us again for another role in Kanto. Snorlax is here for filler, as per the usual. Even in Gen 1, it has a solid selection of moves and still maintains those fantastic stats. So compared to the usual Kanto playthroughs we have of Snorlax, it's going to be acting a little bit different this time. This time, Snorlax is going to be our surfer. A little bit out of the ordinary for the best team, but it's okay as it works out really well. To get Snorlax, it'll be the same as usual. You wake either the one on Route 12 or Route 16 with the Pokeflute. You get the Pokeflute from Mr. Fuji in Lavender Town after you defeat Team Rocket. Both Snorlax will be at the same level, so it doesn't really matter which one you get in all honesty. Just go to whichever one is most convenient. So that out of the way, let's hop right into the moves. So for Snorlax's moveset, we've got Body Slam, Surf, Submission, and Earthquake. Body Slam is a level up move learned at level 35. Surf's HM is obtained from the man in the secret house in the Safari Zone. Submission's TM can be purchased at the Celadon department store. And finally, Earthquake's TM can be found on Sylph Co's 10th floor. With these moves, Snorlax slams down on Koga's team with Earthquake if you decide to go to Sylph Co first. Blaine's team, Giovanni's Kangaskhan on his Sylph Co team, as well as his entire gym team. Lorelei's team aside from Rejinx and Slowbro, Bruno's Onix, Agatha's Gengar, Haunter, and Arbok, and finally Blue's Rhydon and Charizard. As always, Snorlax really comes through for the teams that it ends up on. Its versatility and raw power really do make it one of the best team members. Welcome back, my lovely lady Jinx, to the other section of Kanto, Pokemon Red and Blue. Jinx was one of the superstars on the last Kanto Remastered team, and is arguably the MVP next to the Nidoking. It's just as great in Generation 1 as it is in Generation 3. Great stats, physical special split working in our favor, and easy access to its most powerful attacks early on, right when we get it. To obtain Jinx, you will have to go through a few steps. First, capture a Poliwhirl using the Super Rod. The Super Rod can be obtained on the dock route right below Lavender Town. Once you've gotten the Super Rod, head over to Route 10, and use it until you find a Poliwhirl. Catch it and then head over to Cerulean City. The Poliwhirl you will get should be at around level 23. Head next door to the house next to the Cerulean Pokemon Center and trade the NPC looking for Jinx. So getting Jinx is a little tedious to get, but it is totally worth getting. Trust me on that one. The great thing about Jinx is you can train it up to your other Pokemon's levels easily. Just nab a Psychic TM from Mr. Psychic and Saffron and take Jinx out on Cycling Road and shred. All of the Biker's Pokemon are mainly poison types, so leveling her up shouldn't take that long. Jinx is a great mon for the team, and if you've used it before, you know what I mean. With Jinx's moveset, it's pretty clear cut. We got Ice Beam, Psychic, Lovely Kiss, and Metronome. Ice Beam because no dust stab. That TM can be obtained from the same girl who gives you Rock Slide at the top of Celadon Department Store. Instead, give her a fresh water though. Psychic is there because no dust stab once again, and it's the best Psychic attack you can give the Jinx. The TM for Psychic can be found once again from Mr. Psychic in Saffron City and the bottom row of houses. Lovely Kiss should be there automatically when you trade it for Poliwhirl. Lovely Kiss is great for status, and who knows, it may actually help. Metronome is there because, why not, I couldn't think of any moves for the last slot, so I decided to meme. Do whatever you want here, but if you want Metronome, the TM for that can be obtained from one of the scientists working the fossil lab. He's in the middle room of the lab. And finally, with these moves, Jinx can do well against Koga's team, Giovanni's team, Bruno's team is be careful of Onyx's Rock Throw, Agatha's team, Lance's team aside from Gyarados, and finally Blue's Pidgeot, Rhydon, and Exeggutor. It's a shame how much Jinx has been overlooked over the years. It's an incredibly effective Pokemon, and I wish I would have had it on the original Red and Blue best team. Oh well, at least I've admit it for it now. We're starting off with Charizard, and things become so painfully clear that it's the worst starter pretty quickly. I understand that Charizard gained its popularity back in the day, and it never really lost it, but I'm pretty confident it did not get this popular due to how much fun it was to use in Pokemon Red and Blue. The reality of Charizard's existence is that the first two gym leaders tear it apart, regardless of if you have Charmander or have evolved it at level 16 in the Charmeleon. It just isn't an easy road for this boy, but that's alright, because I'm here to try and make it as useful as possible. Surely there must be a plethora of coverage and stab moves for it to get, right? Well, let's take a look. Alrighty, we've got Flamethrower, that's pretty good, and then Slash and Seismic Toss. Those are both fine moves in the first gen, with all the weird way the mechanics work and whatever. And then finally, there's Earthquake. And I guess even though Charizard's special outdoes attack, 109 to 84, it isn't exactly a horrible move to have by any means for those rock types. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty decent set, but I just realized something. Charizard's also a flying type, and I forgot to throw in some flying type stab. So let's go fix that real fast. Aw crap, I forgot. Charizard doesn't get fly in Pokemon Red and Blue. It doesn't get any flying type attacks at all. I have to ask, what's even the point of this thing having wings if you can't even use wing attack? Why did Game Freak not give this thing any flying type attacks in Generation 1? Well, I guess as they always say, Gen 1 is trash after all. When it comes to what we do have, Flamethrower is learned at level 46 by Charizard. And while you have to wait to get it, you can always use Ember. Well, actually, you can only use Ember until you've defeated Blaine. And even then, I wouldn't be surprised if you overleveled your Charizard a bit to make sure you had Flamethrower already. The next move is Slash, and that is an incredibly broken move in Red and Blue due to the slightly lackluster programming. It's basically going to crit a lot thanks to Charizard's speed stat, which is at base 100. Next, we have Seismic Toss, which is obtainable on Route 25, but you might need Cut for it. However, if you're a crafty player, like myself, you can just get the trainer that's blocking access to it to move by battling him. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys ever did that, by the way. I know I always make sure to get the dude to move, so I don't have to waste any time using Cut to get it. Finally, we have Earthquake, which is a TM obtained from defeating Giovanni for your final gym badge. I'd recommend using Dig until then, which of course you'll get as you leave Cerulean and head to Vermilion City. Comment section, attack Mystic! He made another mistake! Everybody go! Even though one person already said it! Get him! Tricked ya. You actually get Earthquake from Silphco on the 10th floor. Nice try, comment section. Beat you to it this time. So with these moves, Charizard is going to be able to do well against Lieutenant Surge's entire team, Erika's entire team, Koga's entire team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Blaine's entire team, Giovanni's entire team except for Dugtrio, Lorelei's Jinx, Bruno's 2 Onix, Agatha's entire team except for Golbat, and Blue's Rhydon, Arcanine, and Exeggutor. So, for only having ground and fire-type moves that have the potential to do super effective damage, Charizard actually dominates a lot. I guess I kind of take back what I said earlier, implying it was pretty bad. It can actually do an awful lot. It might be useless for your first 2 gym battles, but after that, it really takes the wheel. Alright, we move on to the next member of the team. And since we couldn't make Charizard a flyer because Gen 1's trash, I'll have to pick out a different one. There were 3 main options I thought about here, being Pidgeot, Fearow, and Dodrio. I quickly deduced that Pidgeot wasn't going to cut it, and then I was pushed over the edge to definitely go with Dodrio, since I used it on the original best team. Also, its access to Tri-Attack makes it all the more attractive of an option, and considering how broken status elements are in the first generation, it was totally worth it to use once again. You can capture Doduo on Route 16, which is right by the cycling road area that Snorlax is blocking off. You need to get it to level 31, and then you've got yourself a fine Dodrio to play around with. Thankfully, you'll get Fly right where you capture Doduo too, so you'll be able to get wherever you want rather quickly. Let's take a look at what moves it has along with Fly and Tri-Attack that earn it a spot here today. One more thing I want to mention, Charizard's got wings, and it can't fly, but Dodrio can fly. I don't get it. The moveset we've got on Dodrio is Fly, Tri-Attack, Drill Peck, and Double Team. As I was mentioning, Fly is gotten right at Route 16 in the house on the other side of the gate from where you captured Doduo in the first place. Next up, there's Tri-Attack, which you can get right away for your Doduo when you capture it from the Celadon City department store by giving a girl a lemonade on the roof. It's got a chance to either paralyze, burn, or freeze your opponent, making it a top tier move. As I'm sure you guys remember from the programming issues of Red and Blue, it's possible to freeze a Pokemon and leave them basically stuck that way until they're hit with a fire type attack. Then we have Drill Peck, learned at level 30, and that will be a nice stab attack that doesn't make you wait 2 turns to actually hit. Finally, we have Double Team, which will upraise Dodrio's evasiveness. I know that on the remastered best team, I gave that to Dugtrio and had Double Edge running at this moveset, but I thought differently of it this time. Seeing as how Tri-Attack is just so good, that just spamming it against mostly any Pokemon is a very viable strategy. So with these moves, Dodrio will be able to do well against Erica's entire team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Bruno's Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machamp, and finally, Blue's Exeggutor. Well, that's definitely not a massive list of Pokemon that Dodrio can run through with its flying type stab, but that isn't a huge deal. Like I said, the Double Team Tri-Attack combo is the big part of this moveset, as it has so much potential to render battles essentially over right from the start. So I'll be bringing back one last team member from the remastered best team for this video, and that would be Dugtrio. I don't feel like I have to go into too much detail about this thing. It's pretty obvious why it's here. You can get it right before you battle with Lieutenant Surge, which essentially leaves his team powerless against you. And with the extremely high speed stat Dugtrio has, it's pretty much a crit machine. I mean, who needs bulk when you can just use Slash? So anyway, just peruse Diglett's Cave for a while until you come across a wild Dugtrio, and then do your best to capture it. It should be around level 30. Alternatively, if you do not capture a Dugtrio, you can also capture a Diglett, which can pretty much be captured, a lot earlier, and it's easier to catch. Dugtrio is bringing Earthquake, Slash, Rock Slide, and Toxic into battle during this journey. We lead off with Earthquake, which Dugtrio will get at level 47, and until then, go ahead and use Dig, which should be on its moveset when you capture it. Next up, we have Slash, which I went on about on Charizard. Dugtrio has base 120 speed, which is one of the highest of the generation, so Slash is pretty much going to crit a lot, and hit also for some tremendous damage. Next up is Rock Slide, which is a TM that can be gotten from that Tri-Attack girl on top of the Celadon department store if you give her some Soda Pop. That'll be fantastic for any ice types when it comes to coverage. Finally, we have Toxic, which you'll get from defeating Koga, and I felt it was a nice alternative move to Double Team since I decided to give that to Dodrio this time around. And I mean, who doesn't like causing some residual damage? Alright, with these moves, Dugtrio will be able to do well against Lieutenant Surge's entire team, Koga's entire team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Blaine's entire team, Giovanni's entire team except his own Dugtrio, Lorelei's entire team except for Slowbro, but be very careful, Bruno's duo of Onix, Agatha's entire team, Lance's Dragonite, Gyarados, and Aerodactyl, and Blue's Pidgeot, Rhydon, and Arcanine. Dugtrio really comes in clutch against Lance, and for the most part, matches Charizard's productivity entirely. It's a great option for this team, and the last Pokemon I chose to bring back from the remastered best team. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you guys think bringing back these 2 three-headed beasts was the right call. I'll be checking it out. Alright, let's get into the new Pokemon on this team, and we start off with our electric type.
Now, here's the thing. I almost always use Jolteon when I'm looking for an electric type in a playthrough of Generation 1. It just makes sense. It's really good, and of course its speed justifies it being used. However, this time, I elected to go in a different direction. I thought about how badly we needed something to take on Misty that we could also use to help through the rest of the challenge, so that we're not constantly capturing a single Pokemon to help us defeat a gym leader, and then shortly after, abandoning it. If we have to do it once, which spoiler alert we do for Brock, then that's fine. However, given the fact up to this point, the only Pokemon we'd have for that battle is Charmeleon. I had to get another Pokemon on this team. That's why I decided to use Raichu this time around, since we can get Pikachu in the Viridian Forest. You'll need to buy a Thunderstone from the Celadon City department store in order for you to evolve it, which means this is a very simple evolution. Raichu is pretty strong, with 90 base special and 100 base speed, so it's not going to have a problem filling in for Jolteon as a critting machine against many Pokemon. It may not be as fast, but 100 base speed is definitely something not to sneeze at. Let's take a look at the moveset and see if I managed to come up with any super effective moves besides Thunderbolt to give this thing. We've got Agility, Thunderbolt, Body Slam, and Payday. So the question is answered pretty quickly that no, there wasn't another move I could put on this thing to do super effective damage. That wasn't just another electric type move. So I chose to go with Agility just so Raichu could improve upon an already great speed stat, meaning we truly will get those critical hits. I mean, a critical hit from Thunderbolt is definitely going to be doing more damage than Slash. Speaking of, we've got Thunderbolt here for Raichu, which it'll get as a Pikachu after defeating Lieutenant Surge. Also, I lied again. Critical hits are only based around base speed. Gotcha. Agility is pretty much just on here to increase our speed, because why not? And Gen 1 has crappy move pool. Getting Thunderbolt from Lieutenant Surge is really good. In fact, let me know down below if you guys might be interested in a video talking about the best TMs you get from defeating gym leaders. Next up, we've got Body Slam, which is a TM found on the SS and, offering yet another move for Raichu to try and paralyze other Pokemon with. It's a fine option if it's in against the Pokemon that resist electric type moves anyway. Finally, we've got Payday, which I was sort of surprised to see was actually a TM in Red and Blue, because it totally slipped my mind that anything was learning that besides the Meowth line. I figured it's always nice to make a little extra money in these games, so why not? Alright, so with these moves, Raichu will be able to do well against Misty's entire team, Lorelei's entire team except for Jinx, Agatha's Golbat, Lance's Gyarados and Aerodactyl, and Blue's Pidgeot and Blastoise. The electric typing comes through for Misty's team and Blue's Blastoise, and honestly, that's all we really need to do. At this point, when it comes to Red and Blue, you can literally put a Pokemon that is only good for one battle on a best team, and sort of just justify it being there if it's at least a good Pokemon. And that is certainly what Raichu is. Next up on this team, we've got a fighting type option joining us, Hitmonlee. That's right, a Pokemon I actually used on my remastered version of the best team for Kanto, which was made for Fire Red and Leaf Green. This time, in the first gen, I figured it would be nice to have some fighting type presence, despite the fact that Hitmonlee is one of the latest Pokemon we'll be adding to the team. It's obtained in Saffron City at the Fighting Dojo. I know some of you are more into Hitmonchan, but I honestly am bigger into Hitmonlee myself. Let me know which one you guys prefer down in the comments. Now, the thing is that Hitmonlee quite simply will offer nothing but fighting and normal type moves, though I don't think that's a big deal. As a matter of fact, let's get into the moveset and just go over what it'll be bringing to the table. So we've got High Jump Kick, Rolling Kick or Submission, Strength, and Meditate. High Jump Kick is the strongest stab move that Hitmonlee has, and while there is some risk in using it, I figured it was a good idea to just keep it on. Then, we have either your choice of Rolling Kick or Submission. Rolling Kick has a 30% chance to flinch the opponent, but Submission is stronger. The issue I see with Submission though, is the recoil damage on it, which can be a real turnoff. I think that either way, you'll be good with whichever one you pick. Next up, there's Strength, which is an HM you'll just sort of need to progress at certain points. So I figured I would just use it on Hitmonlee, so at least it can do damage to neutral bug and psychic types if need be. Finally, we have Meditate, which when used, will boost Hitmonlee's attack by a stage, making it even stronger. So with these moves, Hitmonlee will be able to do well against Giovanni's Kangaskhan when you battle him at the top of Silphco, and yes, I know I haven't brought up that battle until now, but his gym team is basically using the same Pokemon, except there's no Kangaskhan, and then his Rhydon and Rhyhorn in the gym battle as well. Then, there's all of Lorelei's Pokemon, except for Slowbro and Jinx, the duo of Onix that Bruno has, and Blue's Rhydon. So that's not exactly a lot of Pokemon, but the fact is that it'll help with the Kangaskhan and a bunch of rock types as well. I mean, we haven't even introduced a water type yet, but don't worry, because we're about to right now. Alright, so as you guys are aware, I tend to use Lapras when I do best teams for red and blue, as it's really good and something that you're given, if not something you receive a little late into the game. I wanted to try something different this time though, and go with Slowbro. Now, this thing, as advertised, it's incredibly slow. However, I'm not holding that against it for something we'll get into when we talk about the moves. When it comes to acquiring Slowbro, it isn't that hard to do in all honesty. You just need to use a Super Rod, which you can acquire after you've gotten the Pokeflute and moved Snorlax out of the way. You just have to head back over to Celadon City and fish one up. From there, level it up to 37, and you have yourself a Slowbro. For now though, let's get into the moves real quick, and I'll try to focus in a little more on why Slowbro made it here over Lapras. We've got Psychic, Surf, Ice Beam, and Amnesia making up the moveset Slowbro is using. We start off with Psychic, which you can use the TM gotten in Saffron to put on this set instead of waiting until level 55. Next up is of course the much needed Surf, which is obtained in the Safari Zone once you've reached the end. You'll be able to head down to Fuchsia right away after getting Slowpoke if you want, so go ahead and do that, and you'll instantly have its best water move. Then, we have Ice Beam, which is the final move you can get from that girl on the roof of the Celadon City department store if you give her fresh water. Finally, the move that puts Slowbro here over Lapras is Amnesia. It's learned at level 40 by Slowpoke. So basically, what I'm telling you to do is keep your Slowpoke from evolving into Slowbro until it learns Amnesia, meaning you'll need to wait an extra 3 levels. I'll explain why in a little bit, but just know that Amnesia is amazing in the first gen, and using it once will boost Slowbro's special by 2 stages, which will make it into such a great specially attacking wall. So, with these moves, Slowbro will be able to do well against Sabrina's Venomoth, Koga's entire team, Blaine's entire team, Giovanni's entire team, Bruno's entire team, Agatha's entire team, Lance's entire team, and Blue's Pidgeot, Arcanine, Executor, and Rhydon. Do you guys see the sort of domination that Slowbro brings forth with its Psychic typing? Lapras is really good, but the fact is that Slowbro has Amnesia, which will quickly make it as good as Lapras, if not better. And honestly, I think that the Water Psychic typing is just better than the Water Ice typing. That's just me though. Let me know if you'd have used Lapras over Slowbro in the end. There may be even some of you guys arguing for Starmie's case, but once again, I really like the idea of Amnesia. Now, before we wrap things up, there is something I like to address with this team. We have nothing for Brock or any Psychic type Pokemon. So, essentially, in the first generation, Psychic types were broken. They had only one weakness, being to Bug, and were completely immune to Ghost types. That put me in a pretty horrible position, but that's part of the reason why I decided to go Slowbro on this team instead of Lapras, and why for the Blastoise team, I might feature yet another Slowbro despite Blastoise water typing. I'm not sure yet, we'll find out. Slowbro is able to use Amnesia and tank the Psychic type moves that Sabrina's Psychic types go for, since it is a Psychic type itself. With just one Amnesia setup though, it's probably going to be able to knock out Sabrina's Psychic types with the usage of Surf. It just made sense to me to not force a Beedrill onto this team with Twin Needle, just to have a Bug type move for Psychic types. So, just walling them out seemed like the way to go. As for Brock, he's the only one time I'll suggest just getting a Mankey if you're playing Red, or Butterfree in Blue that has Confusion, and relying on those to get you through the battle. I'd also recommend if you're playing Red, maybe Mankey would probably be a better option for you. If you think that Mankey would be a better option than Hitmonlee, by all means go for that as well. Brock is just so aggravating when you have Charmander as your starter, and I don't have any better idea to help get through him than turning to either of those Pokemon. Alright, let's go ahead and get to the starter as we always do, being Blastoise this time around. The cover Pokemon of Blue version is right behind Venusaur in the hierarchy of Kanto starters, and it fits a nice little role on the team as most water types have been on best teams in the past. It's your starter, you gotta get to level 36, and at that point, you'd have a nice fully evolved Pokemon. Its 85 base special will be easy to take advantage of in the first gen thanks to its water typing, so it'll be definitely useful, just like Lapras or Slowbro would be in this spot. Plus, you know, having something to easily just tear through Brock is always nice. Let's get right into the moveset and see what we've got to work with here. Alright, the moveset we have is Surf, Ice Beam, Earthquake, and Submission. Really original set, right? Well, we lead off with Surf, which you'll get from the Safari Zone. You can enjoy using Bubble Beam until then, which Misty will give you for beating her. Next up we have Ice Beam, which is easily obtainable on the top of the Celadon department store. You just need to give the girl up there some nice tasty fresh water. Is there anything water can't do? Next up is Earthquake, which you'll be finding in the Silph Co. Thank you by the way for clearing that up, comments.
I mean, I guess you could get it in there after you beat Giovanni, so it still sort of works in getting it from beating Giovanni. Kinda. Anyway, we end this set with Submission. You'll be able to go buy that in the Celadon department store. It's relatively cheap, and while it's a move with some recoil, it's not bad to give Blastoise a fighting type move. Alright, now with these moves, Blastoise will be able to do well against Brock's entire team, Erika's entire team if you want to risk it with Ice Beam, Koga's entire team, Blaine's entire team, Giovanni's entire team, Lorelai's Dugong, Cloyster, and Lapras, Bruno's duo of Onix, Agatha's entire team, Lance's entire team except for Gyarados, and finally Blue's Pidgeot, Rhydon, Arcanine, and Venusaur. Talk about domination. Blastoise uses this set to just slam its way through so many battles, sweeping prominent leaders and a great deal of the Elite Forest Pokemon. Venusaur might be the best starter for Red and Blue, but Blastoise surely covers that number 2 spot well. Alright, we move on to the next member of the team, returning from the Charizard squad, Dodrio. As always, Pidgeot wasn't going to cut it. And then I was pushed over the edge to definitely go with Dodrio, since I've used it on the other Red and Blue teams. Now, you guys did a good job pointing out that Tri-Attack doesn't cost status elements in Gen 1, so I'm making sure that while it's included, I don't make that mistake again. You can capture Doduo on Route 16, which is right by the cycling road area that Snorlax is blocking off. You need to get it to level 31, and then you've got yourself a fine Dodrio to play with. Thankfully, you'll get Fly right where you captured Doduo too, so you'll be able to get whatever you want quickly. Let's take a look at the moves it has, along with Fly and Tri-Attack, that earned it a spot here today. The moveset we've got on Dodrio is Fly, Tri-Attack, Drill Peck, and Double Team. As I was mentioning, Fly is gotten right at Route 16 in the house, on the other side of the gate from where you captured Doduo in the first place. Next up, there's Tri-Attack, which you can get right away for your Doduo from the Celadon City department store by giving a girl a lemonade on the roof. It's still a really good stab move, even without being able to cause an ailment, so I'm glad to keep it on. Then, we have Drill Peck, learned at level 30, and will be a nice stab move that doesn't make you wait 2 turns to actually hit. Finally, we have Double Team, which will raise Dodrio's evasiveness. I know that on the Remastered Best team, I gave that to Dugtrio and had Double Edge running out this set, but I thought differently of it this time, seeing as how Tri-Attack is still a decent normal type stab. So with these moves, Dodrio will be able to do well against Erika's entire team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Bruno's Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machamp, and finally Blue's Venusaur. Well, that's definitely not a massive list of Pokemon that Dodrio can run through with its flying type stab, but that isn't a huge deal. It's really possible to just run that Double Team and take out most Pokemon with Tri-Attack and Drill Peck, as they will struggle to hit Dodrio while it literally pecks away at them. Great pun, right? Woohoo! Just avoid rock types, and Dodrio should be able to use its heightened evasiveness to pick up wins in battle. So I'll be bringing back yet another member from the Charizard and Remastered Best teams for this video, and that would be Dugtrio. I don't feel like I have to go into too much detail about this thing, because it's pretty obvious why it's here. You can get it right before you battle with Lieutenant Surge, which essentially leaves this team powerless against you. And with the extremely high speed stat Dugtrio has, it's just a crit machine. I mean, who needs bulk when you're using Slash and everything in Red and Blue? So anyway, just peruse Diglett's cave for a while until you come across a wild Diglett or a Dugtrio, and then do your best to capture it. If you're able to find a Dugtrio, it should be around level 30, so it's definitely going to be a bit stronger than the rest of your team more than likely, but that is fine. Dugtrio is bringing Earthquake, Slash, Rock Slide, and Toxic into battle during this journey. We lead off with Earthquake, which Dugtrio will get at level 47, and until then, go ahead and use Dig, which should be on its moveset when you capture it. Next up, we have Slash. Dugtrio has base 120 speed, which is one of the highest of the generation, so Slash is going to pretty much always crit and hit for some tremendous damage. Next up is Rock Slide, which is a TM that can be gotten from that Tri-Attack girl on top of the Celadon department store if you give her some Soda Pop. That'll be fantastic for any ice types when it comes to coverage. Finally, we have Toxic, which you'll get from defeating Koga, and I felt it was a nice alternative move to Double Team since I decided to give that to Dodrio this time. Who doesn't like causing some residual damage? Alright, with these moves, Dugtrio will be able to do well against Lieutenant Surge's entire team, Koga's entire team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Blaine's entire team, Giovanni's entire team except his own Dugtrio, Lorelai's entire team except for Slowbro, but be very, very careful, Bruno's duo of Onix, Agatha's entire team, Lance's Dragonite, Gyarados, and Aerodactyl, and Blue's Pidgeot, Rhydon, Arcanine, and Gyarados. Dugtrio really comes in clutch against Lance, and honestly that speed with Slash is the true star here. It was hard to justify not going with Dugtrio once again. It just needed to be here because it's a spot which is much deserved.
Alright, we move on now to Raichu. I'll explain once again why I didn't go with Jolteon, just in case you're a little confused about it. I thought about how badly we needed something to take on Misty, that we could also use through the rest of the challenge, so that we're not constantly capturing a single Pokemon to help us defeat a gym leader and then abandoning it. We can't just battle with Misty using Wartortle. That's why I decided to use Raichu this time around, since we can get Pikachu in the Viridian Forest. You'll need to buy a Thunderstone from the Celadon department store to evolve it, which means this is a very simple evolution. Raichu is strong with 90 base special and 100 base speed, so it's not going to have a problem filling in for Jolteon as a critting machine against many Pokemon. So its speed is still pretty good. Let's take a look at that moveset and see if I managed to come up with any super effective moves besides Thunderbolt for this thing. We've got Agility, Thunderbolt, Body Slam, and Payday. So the question is answered pretty quickly that no, there wasn't any other move I could put on this thing to do super effective damage that wasn't just another electric type move. So I chose to go with Agility just so Raichu can improve upon an already great stat, but also, due to a bug in the programming of Gen 1, it'll boost its other stats too thanks to the gym badges it has. Next, we have Thunderbolt, which is obtained from defeating Lieutenant Surge. And God, let me tell you guys, that is a really great TM from battling a gym leader. If it weren't for the fact that good moves are so easy to get in Sword and Shield, I'd say I wish leaders still gave moves of this quality. Next up, we have Body Slam, which is a TM found on the SSN, offering yet another move for Raichu to try and paralyze other Pokemon with. It's a fine option if it's in against a Pokemon that resist electric type moves. And finally, we've got Payday, because who doesn't love extra money? Alright, so with these moves, Raichu will be able to do well against Misty's entire team, Lorelei's entire team except for Jinx, Agatha's Golbat, Lance's Gyarados and Aerodactyl, and Blue's Pidgeot and Gyarados. The electric typing comes in clutch for Misty's team and Blue's Gyarados. And honestly, that's all we really need it to do. At this point, when it comes to Red and Blue, you can literally put a Pokemon that is only good for one battle on a best team and sort of just justify it being there, if it's at least a good Pokemon. And that is certainly what Raichu is. Next up on this team, we've got a fighting type option joining us, being Hitmonlee. That's right, another Pokemon returning from the Charizard team. But this is the last of that group. This time in the first generation, I figured it would be nice to have some fighting type presence, despite the fact that Hitmonlee is one of the latest Pokemon we'll be adding to the team. It's gotten in Saffron City at the Fighting Dojo after you defeat everyone inside. I know some of you more prefer Hitmonchan, but I'm honestly bigger into Hitmonlee myself. Let me know what you prefer in the comments. Now, the thing is that Hitmonlee quite simply will offer nothing but fighting and normal type moves, though I don't think that's a big deal. As a matter of fact, let's get into the moveset and just go over what it'll be bringing to the table. So we've got High Jump Kick, Rolling Kick, Strength, and Meditate. High Jump Kick is the strongest stab move that Hitmonlee has. I figured it was just a good idea to keep it on. Then we'll be going with Rolling Kick, with a 30% chance to flinch out the opponent if it lands nicely. It is learned at level 33 and will surely be a useful move. Next up, there's Strength, which is an HM you'll just sort of need to progress at certain points. So I figured I would just use it on Hitmonlee, so at least it can do damage to neutral bug and psychic types if need be. Finally, we have Meditate, which when used, will boost Hitmonlee's attack by a stage, making it even stronger. So with these moves, Hitmonlee will be able to do well against Giovanni's Kangaskhan when you battle him at the top of Silphco, and then his Rhyhorn and Rhydon in the gym battle as well. Then, there's all of Lorelei's Pokemon except for Slowbro, the duo of Onix that Bruno has, and Blue's Rhydon. So that's not exactly a lot of Pokemon, but the fact is that it'll help with that Kangaskhan and a bunch of rock types as well. It's important to have a Pokemon that can come in as a mop-up option for those left over, and that is certainly Hitmonlee's purpose. Alright, closing out this best team, we have an old friend making its appearance known, Snorlax. It's exactly what you like to see. A great Pokemon we're used to seeing, and that can feast in Kanto. And the biggest thing on my mind in bringing into the fold is coverage. Snorlax, being the OG awesome normal type, is very capable of playing the coverage game. And the moveset I've got together will show that off big time. You'll need to save Mr. Fuji and get the Pokeflute to wake Snorlax up, which would be after you clear out the rockets in the Celadon game corner, and then again in the Pokemon Tower. Let's go look at the moveset of this beast so I can show you exactly what I had in mind. The moves that Snorlax is using this time around is Amnesia, Thunder, Psychic, and Fire Blast. That's right, we've got Amnesia for Snorlax, which isn't exactly the most original idea in the world, but how could I avoid it? If you remember on the Charizard team, I brought in Slowbro as the water type, which I recently decided was the best water type to use in Red and Blue, by the way. And a big part of why I chose it was for Amnesia.
It's a move that'll raise Snorlax's special stat by 2 stages, so it's going to look a lot better. And with that said, its special is going to rocket. It'll be able to go toe-to-toe with Sabrina's psychic types after being set up once or twice. And it at least works out for that role, since using Slowbro might have been too much, since we already had Blastoise. The moves complemented by Amnesia start with Thunder, which you'll need to surf down to the power plant to get. Then, we've got Psychic, which is easily obtainable in Saffron City for Mr. Psychic. And finally, there's Fire Blast, which you'll receive for defeating Blaine. If you guys think my special idea is a little bit too crazy, you can always just go ahead and run some physical normal type attacks as well. But I thought this set was really fun, and let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. So, with this group of coverage moves, Snorlax will easily be able to do well against Koga's entire team, Sabrina's Venomoth, Giovanni's Nidoking and Queen, Lorelai's entire team, Bruno's Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Machamp, Agatha's entire team, Lance's Gyarados and Aerodactyl, and finally Blue's Pidgeot, Gyarados, and Venusaur. It's a big help to have something with Amnesia on this team, even if it's a bit slow. It can take good special hits, and it will be able to dish out hard-hitting moves with a greatly enhanced special stat. It's honestly awesome to see my boy Snorlax coming back for another go in Gen 1. Dang, I really need to stop having trade evolutions on best teams, or else I'm gonna have to do this every time I mess up on a best team. But alas, it is what it is. Hey guys, welcome back to another Kanto Remastered best team. This time back in Generation 1 with Pokemon Yellow. And yes, I just did Pokemon Red and Blue Remastered a little while back, I know, but I wanted to get this out of the way so we could hurry and get out of Kanto. But yeah, Pokemon Yellow best team, I made some mess ups with some trade evolutions, and a few other team members that I went and replaced. Pokemon Red and Blue are similar though, so if you guys see any Pokemon on there from Pokemon Red and Blue Remastered, don't be surprised. Rather than just me explain it though, let us show you instead. Here to help me with this remastered best team is Hoops and Hip Hop. Sup, dude?
Yo, what's up everybody? I'm Hoops and Hip Hop, and as Mystic so beautifully explained, I'm here to help him with his remastered version of the best team for Pokemon Yellow. And since Mystic knows his stuff when it comes to best teams and stuff like that, I actually had him help me with the other half of this collab on my channel, where we are determining who is actually the best Pokemon trainer ever within the main series games. So be sure to check that out when you're done here, but for now, let's take a look at Kanto.
Before Hoops and I go any further though, allow me to explain what a best team is for all you newcomers out there. A best team is a team of 6 Pokemon that is designed for the absolute best performance for its said Pokemon game. The team revolves around a best starter choice, and is then made into a team revolving around the said best starter, in our case Pikachu. However, since Pikachu is our only option, I guess it's gonna have to cut it. Each team member is designed to do well against certain gym leaders, the Elite 4 members, Champion, Rival, and the Evil team leaders. In the end, we have a team that does well against all the most important battles in the game. When making this team, we do provide movesets for each of the Pokemon. We include TM moves, but we do not allow egg moves nor post-game tutor moves. This is Generation 1 though, so none of those things actually exist. One more aspect I need to cover is what evolution Blue is going to be getting. Assuming the player will be battling the rival all of the times, we're going to have his Eevee evolve into Jolteon. So we're going to build the team revolving around Jolteon as well. Alrighty, I think you guys know what a best team is. Now let's hop into the Pokemon themselves.
So starting off this best team for Yellow is of course our starter Pikachu. Now it is Pikachu because that's the only choice we have, and usually while Pikachu is pretty bad, the Pokemon Yellow version of Pikachu is actually pretty good because it's a more powered up version of Pikachu without all of the horrendous stats. It's basically supposed to be imitating the anime, and that's really all you can say about it, so let's just go ahead and roll with it. For Pikachu's moves, we have a very similar moveset to the one we had on the original best team for Yellow. We have Thunderbolt, Thunderwave, Submission, and Body Slam. Thunderbolt can be learned at level 26, and that is the best electric attack Pikachu can get. Thunderwave is learned at level 8, and that's handy for making capturing Pokemon easier and paralyzing your opponent because crippling their speed is pretty nice. Submission is also here because it's Pikachu's best coverage move, and the TM for that can be found in the Celadon department store. Lastly, Pikachu gets Body Slam, and Body Slam is here because it's just a good attack and it has the chance to paralyze, so hey, that's pretty nice too. With these moves, Pikachu actually does really well against Misty's entire team, Giovanni's Persian and Rhydon, just make sure you're aiming for the horn there, Team Rocket's Meowth, Lorelai's entire team aside from Jinx, Bruno's Onix as long as you watch out for those ground type moves, Agatha's Golbat, Lance's Gyarados and Aerodactyl, and finally Blue's Cloyster. Unfortunately, Pikachu really doesn't do a whole lot for this team for most of the game, but it is our starter, so we kinda have to make do with what we have, and at the very least, it does really help out towards the end.
Coming up next, like how we did in the original best team for Yellow, we're going to capture Mankey for Brock. Simply just capture on the right next to Viridian and have it learn Low Kick. You'll have no problem with Brock after that. Once you beat Brock, I would drop it into the PC as we'll be getting into another fighting Pokemon later on. Or if you want to use Primeape, you can, but I just prefer using the other fighting type instead. Digging up next is Dugtrio. This mole is returning from Pokemon Red and Blue Remastered. Remember how I said how some Pokemon will be returning? Yeah, I wasn't lying. Diglett and Dugtrio can be found in Diglett's Cave. This Pokemon is literally the best ground-type Pokemon to have on a team in Pokemon Yellow. It's fast, has decent attack and speed in this game helps with crit, so there's that too. Dugtrio's ground typing can help out with so many battles in Yellow, primarily against Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. Not to mention the entire lot of Team Rocket's poison types also fall victim to Dugtrio's ground-type Fury. But yeah, crits, pure ground typing, attack, speed, all these qualities make Dugtrio a monster, and it's no surprise it made its way back. Once again, I'm sad we don't get to see Nidoking again, but the lack of ground moves it gets makes it not that great. Yes, I am aware of speedrunning strats for Nidoking, but keep in mind that this is also a team, not a solo run. So, anywho, welcome back Dugtrio. For now, we're going to be using the same moveset from Red and Blue Remastered. Dig/Earthquake, Slash, Rock Slide, and Double Team. Dig is automatically on Diglett or Dugtrio when you capture it. Earthquake can be learned to level 48, and it's the strongest ground type attack it can get. Slash can be learned to level 35, and this move is great because of speed and crits, whoop-de-doo. Rock Slide is fantastic coverage for those flying type Pokemon, and the team for that can be found on the top floor of Celadon Apartment Store, given to you by a girl. Give her a drink and she will give you Rock Slide. Double Team is interesting for Dugtrio, and I know it's not great, but Generation 1 Pokemon lack move pulls, so Double Team is what we have to work with. Double Team can be found in the Safari Zone after walking around for a bit. With this moveset, Dugtrio digs into Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, Koga's entire team with Rock Slide, Blaine's team, Giovanni's Nidoqueen, Nidoking, and Rhydon, Team Rocket's Weezing and Arbok, Lorelei's Ice types, but only if you're insane, Bruno's Onix, Agatha's entire team, Lance's Gyarados, Aerodactyl, and Dragonite, and finally, Blue's Cloyster, Be Careful, Ninetales, and Jolteon. Dugtrio is definitely an important member of this team. It might not have a wide move pool, but it only needs that access to ground and rock type moves to be an absolute unit on this team.
Next up on this best team for Yellow is none other than our flying type Dodrio. Now, Dodrio can be found right in between Celadon City and the Cycling Road, just so long as you have access to cut in order to cut down the tree that is blocking the patch of grass where Doduo is located. Now, I know we had Charizard last time on the team, but Charizard just does not stack up that well at all in Kanto. Fire-type Pokemon just do not do that well at all in Kanto, and there are other flying types that can do the job better than Charizard, hence why we are replacing him with Dodrio. Dodrio is just a great Pokemon in general as well as a flying type because it has a plethora of great flying type attacks and normal type attacks that really give it a lot of power. Moves like Drill Peck and Tri Attack really help Dodrio to just shred through the different teams in Pokemon Yellow that you'll come across, and Dodrio also has great physical attack and speed in order to back these moves up, as he has a base 110 in both categories. I think I've just about explained to you guys though in a million different ways why Dodrio is such a good Pokemon, so why don't we go ahead and move on to its moveset. Dodrio's moveset is similar to the last moveset in Red and Blue Remastered, except for one move change. We've got Fly, Drill Peck, Tri Attack, and Hyper Beam. Fly is there because, as always, we don't want to walk everywhere, and Drill Peck can be learned at level 30, and it's the best flying attack Dodrio can get. Tri Attack is also a very solid base 80 power normal attack move that can also be learned at level 45, and then the last move we have for Dodrio is Hyper Beam, and what's cool about this move is not only is it really powerful, but in Gen 1, if a Pokemon is taken out by Hyper Beam, the Pokemon using it does not have to recharge, so this is a cool mechanic that we can definitely take advantage of in Pokemon Yellow. With these moves, Dodrio absolutely blows away Erika's entire team, Koga's team, Bruno's Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, and Machamp, just so long as you watch out for Hitmonchan's Ice and Thunder Punch, and finally Blue's Exeggutor. While there might not be a large variety of Pokemon that Dodrio does well against, it really does absolutely destroy those who are weak to it.
Coming back to a Kanto best team is Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee can be received as a reward for completing the Fighting Dojo in Saffron City. Now surprisingly, Hitmonlee is actually going to be the filler Pokemon for this team because we actually really don't need a Flying type Pokemon. But this time around, I used it because I couldn't find any more Pokemon to use on the team. So Hitmonlee is going to have to do it. Kanto only has so many Pokemon that we can pick from because we're only limited to so many Pokemon choices. Hitmonlee isn't exactly filler as it actually does one job, and that job is against Giovanni's Persian. Even though Pikachu already can take out Persian with its submission. I just want Hitmonlee to do it because everyone loves seeing Hitmonlee use kick attacks. Hitmonlee may not be the greatest Pokemon, but I mean, hey, it gets some very powerful fighting type attacks. There is a slight problem with that though, and they all have bad accuracy. Well, not bad, but not great. I guess they do the job. Regardless, it's a great filler Pokemon for the team, having 120 in attack and 87 in speed. It's not a bad choice at all, especially because there are a lot of normal Pokemon in the Kanto region already, so Hitmonlee actually will help out against a lot of those random trainers. Hitmonlee's moveset is very limited, so this moveset is going to be kind of cheese. It should still help get the job done though, mainly. This moveset consists of Jump Kick / High Jump Kick, Double Edge, Strength, and Meditate. Now you have the option for either Jump Kick or High Jump Kick. It really doesn't matter, but I prefer High Jump Kick because of the power difference, and I mean, it's only a minor difference in accuracy between the moves. But if you prefer accuracy, then by all means pick Jump Kick. Double Kick is nice because it's a nice and powerful attack and can help dent a big hole in an opponent when Hitmonlee's kicks won't work. The team for Double Edge can be found in the Rocket Hideout at the game corner. Strength is given to you by the Safari Zone Warden once you give him his gold teeth back from the Safari Zone. It's there because of HM usage, and I guess because we're limited here. Meditate is the last move Hitmonlee has, and that raises the attack stage by 1. That attack should be on Hitmonlee right when you get it. That will help with potential sweeps and such. With this moveset, Hitmonlee opens up a Cannon, Giovanni's Persian and Rhydon, Team Rocket's Meowth, Lorelai's Dugong, Cloyster and Lapras, Bruno's Onix, and Blue's Cloyster. Yeah, Hitmonlee is a monster, and I'm glad we got to see it kick rear again in Kanto.
Coming into our 5th spot on the list, we have Snorlax, and I'm pretty sure you guys know the deal with this one, so I won't go ahead and waste anyone's time with a long explanation, but basically, even in Generation 1, Snorlax is an absolute beast with not only the move pool it has access to, but also its very impressive stats. There are 2 different Snorlax you have access to in Kanto, just so long as you can wake them up with the Pokeflute, being found on both Route 12 and Route 16. However, they're both the exact same level and have the same moves, so it really doesn't matter which one you catch. As far as a moveset goes, we decided to go with Self-Destruct, Body Slam, Submission, and Earthquake. Now, we've got a variety of moves here that Snorlax can truly take advantage of as the beast of a Pokemon that it is, and it also gives us access to a powerful normal type stab bonus with Pokemon that are damaged normally by those moves. While Self-Destruct isn't completely necessary, you are able to find the TM for it in Silphco. Body Slam is a level up move that can be learned at level 35 for Snorlax, and Submission's TM can also be picked up at the Celadon department store. And finally, there is Earthquake, whose TM can also be found at Silphco as well. As far as who Snorlax does well against, the list is a long one because Snorlax can easily take care of Blaine's team, Giovanni's team, Team Rocket's team, Lorelai's Dugong, Cloyster, and Lapras, Bruno's Onix, Agatha's Gengar, Haunter, and Arbok, Lance's Aerodactyl, and finally Blue's Sandslash, Cloyster, Ninetales, and Jolteon. As usual, this giant chonk of a Pokemon does massive damage to most of the teams it comes across, and once again has rightfully earned its spot on the best team for Pokemon Yellow.
Coming up last on the best team is another surprise. Da-da-da-da! It's Lapras. Yeah, Lapras has been on a lot of best teams lately, and I mean, how could it not be? It's got great special and bulk. We're also picking Lapras because Jinx isn't available in Pokemon Yellow, which sucks. But hey, Lapras is just as good. The ice typing Lapras has is excellent, and if you have seen the prior best teams, you guys know Lapras is amazing. To get Lapras, just go to Silphco and you can find it there. An NPC will give it to you at level 25. There really isn't much of the difference between Lapras and Jinx, actually. I mean, they practically get the same attacks. The only difference is, Lapras is slower, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Lapras is still really good, plus we got a Pokemon for Surf that's actually a water type for a change. Lapras is a great water Pokemon. Don't think I really need to explain much. Lapras' moveset is going to look very similar to you guys. We got Surf, Ice Beam, Psychic, and Thunderbolt. Surf is the best water type attack it can get, and you need to get across the water. Surf can be found in the Safari Zone after you find the secret reward house. Ice Beam can be learned at level 38, and that is incredibly early for an Ice type Pokemon to have access to Ice Beam at. Psychic can be learned via TM from Mr. Psychic in Saffron City. It can help out against all those poison types scattered from within Team Rocket and Silphco. I'd recommend doing this for Experience Lapras because it will only be level 25 when you obtain it. Lastly, we have Thunderbolt, and that can be earned after you defeat Lieutenant Surge. That's coverage for other water Pokemon, and it helps out a ton on the water routes of Kanto. How does Lapras get Thunderbolt, you ask? Got me, Chief. And lastly, with these moves, Lapras can destroy Koga's team, Blaine's team, Giovanni's team aside from Persian, Lorelai's Dugong, Slowbro, and Lapras, Bruno's team must watch out for those rock slides, Agatha's team, Lance's team, and finally Blue's Sandslash, Executor, Cloyster, and Ninetales. Just like with Snorlax, Lapras is such a valued member on these Kanto best teams that it doesn't make sense when you don't have it on your team, as there aren't that many Pokemon that can outclass it.